When, teachers feel equipped, students flourish, and we're really here to make sure that, like our motto says, that we're creating confident and competent communicators and thinkers, and we'll do anything to make sure that happens.
Hello, and welcome to the Arts of Language podcast with Andrew Poudois, founder of the Institute for Excellence in Writing, or as many like to say, IEW. My name is Julie Walker, and I'm honored to serve Andrew and IEW as the Chief Marketing Officer. Our goal is to equip teachers and teaching parents with methods and materials which will aid them in training their students to become confident and competent communicators and thinkers. Well, listener, today is one of those days where Andrew is out. So I have in the studio with me Jeff Nease, who is a manager of IEW's schools department. And before I start throwing questions at him, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background about our schools department and how we are different from any other schools curricular provider. Actually, I'm not going to share that. Jeff is. We like to say we are not a love 'em and leave 'em company. We like to say that we're here with you. We know this journey is a little different than perhaps what you're used to. It's probably different than what you were taught as a teacher in college. And so we're here to help you every step of the way because we want students of any educational pathway, whether homeschool or schools, to become confident and competent communicators and thinkers. So, what does this partnership really look like? And how, if you are a school teacher, can you get help from us here at IEW? And if you're not a school teacher and you're a parent or you're a home educator, but you know a school teacher or administrator, please feel free to share this episode with them. So, well, Jeff, welcome to our podcast. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
It's always nice to hear different voices, I think, in our podcast.
Absolutely.
You've got a really great voice, Jeff. We really appreciate that. Jeff has done some teaching for teachers across the United States, and he is featured in one of our social media posts called the 60-Second School, where you teach a little grammar lesson, essentially, which is really fun. And some of them come to me. One of the questions that came up that you spoke to, Jeff, came from my uncle. Because he wanted to know.
Was it the apostrophe S one?
No, oh. It was the one where you were talking about Dennis.
Oh.
Because my uncle's name is Dennis. Mm-hmm. So, and actually, it's today. We're in November. I'm not sure. Have those come out yet?
We've had a lot of them come out.
We've had a lot.
So sometimes it's hard to keep up which ones are being released, and we film a lot of them all at one time.
Yes. You're always wearing the same outfit.
I know. I never change.
Never change. Okay, so tell me about IEW. Tell us more about this love 'em and lead 'em, and how does a school place orders with IEW?
Sure. No, I'm so excited to be able to talk to you and our listeners about our schools department, as well as just how we can best serve them. And like you mentioned earlier, we don't just, love them and leave them. What we do is that we walk alongside of our educators literally every step of the way, from, hey, I just have a question of how this works, to, okay, now I'm ready to explore curriculum, training, now we're implementing. And even after schools are implementing our curriculum, we still continue that relationship with them by providing, additional resources. And our educational consultants are also a resource. So, we always say, hey, if you're coming up on a lesson or you have a question, reach out, email us, call us, and we are happy to help. We'll even pull out our own book and look at the page along with you. If you have any, ideas for your classroom, we're more than happy to collaborate in that way as well. So, it's really ongoing coaching and really just helping our educators, teachers, administrators, literally every step of the way, ensuring that, their students are confident and competent communicators and thinkers. So.
Yep. I have a question, Jeff. It sounds a little bit like our curriculum is hard to use, and therefore they need all this help along the way. Is that true?
No, not at all. No, our curriculum is very easy to use and, even to the point where somebody can pick it up and begin teaching and using it. So when you say, oh, there's so much training and there's all of this coaching that's needed, no, just think of that as additional support. And, we have hybrid schools, 4-day-a-week schools, 5-day-a-week schools. We have teachers and schools that we work with that have, state standards they have to meet. And so really just think of it as ongoing support.
Right. So what is unique about the way we teach writing?
Well, what's really unique is that we meet students exactly where they're at. And so IEW is not something to where, well, it's only third grade and up or it's only high school. We use our structure and style methodology, so it's a mastery-based program. So the one thing that I love I keep saying the one thing, there's a lot of things that I love, is that there's this pressure that's taken off of teachers that if you don't do it 100% the first year, it's okay. They're going to come back to it next year. Pacing is a little bit different and things like that. But if you want to go in more depth on, the dress ups and you're like, oh, I just didn't get to it this year as much as I would like, it's okay. Next year, they're going to go through it again. So that's the one thing I love. I love the mastery-based approach. I love how we divide structure and style, and also just meeting students exactly where they're at with being able to edit our checklists. So we see a lot of great things with students with maybe some learning challenges, but also being able to challenge those students that need a challenge. So we're able to meet all types of students anywhere and everywhere they're at.
Right. So selling to schools, and of course we sell to homeschoolers as well, and our listeners might be surprised to hear that that gap between schools and homeschoolers is closing. It's not exactly 50-50, but it's getting there. We have a lot of schools using our materials. I can say with confidence, literally thousands of schools across the United States and around the world that are using our materials. But Jeff, why is it different for schools? I think of the homeschool mom who picks up the phone and has all the questions. Her questions are answered and she places an order. Is that how it works for schools too?
Similar, but not always. We have, with schools, we have so many hoops and loops that schools have to jump through. Like I said, they might have state standards, they have budgetary constraints, and, we have many types of students. So in a homeschool family, you might have 2 or 3 students that the mom and dads are also
Absolutely.
teaching. Shout out to homeschool dads.
Yes.
But with schools, you may have a classroom of 30 children. And you may have 10 of those that are advanced. You may have 10 of those that are below grade level. And so I don't want to say it gets a little more tricky, but we have to really stop and think, what is the best fit for your classroom? And we have to take so many different things into account. And so that's where educational consultants can really come in and help, because we know that even a school 2 blocks down the road is different from the school 2 blocks in the other direction.
Right, exactly.
And so we are here to help with really explaining our curriculum, what it is, what the differences are, and really just making sure that teachers, administrators get exactly what is going to benefit their students the most.
So we have curriculum, of course, and we've got basically 2 categories of curriculum. Can you speak to that and maybe give your recommendation for a school that is brand new to IEW? Where's the best place for them to start?
Sure. Well, we get this question a lot, and administrators, principals will call in and just tell me what I need to buy.
Yeah.
And it's really not that easy, because we say, well, tell me more about your students. Are they on grade level? Are they below grade level? Are they advanced? How much experience does your teachers have? And so, generally, if we have a school that's brand new to IEW, we generally tend to recommend structure and style for students. And that is what we call our video-based curriculum. And we have to kind of pump the brakes on that a little bit, because when schools hear, oh, video-based, oh, well, our students, maybe it's a classical school and they're not using, Google Chromebooks for every single student. But we just say, no, there is actually a model for imitation. There's a video of Andrew teaching the exact lesson that you will teach. So if you're brand new to IEW and you have very visual learners, as far as your teachers go with SSS. And so you can actually see the lesson modeled. And then you can, like we always say, you can even steal Andrew's jokes if you want to. So that's one side. But we also have...
Let me just just to clarify, so if I'm a teacher teaching, say, fourth grade,
Mm-hmm.
and my educational consultant says, hey, Mrs. Walker, you with your fourth grade, your group of 30 kids in your fourth grade class, we're recommending Structure and Style for Students Year 1 Level A, just for example,
Sure.
right? Based on whatever you and I spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
I, as a teacher, then have the videos that I can choose to have the students watch or not.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing is that I watch the videos so that I can then say, oh, that's how you do it. And then I teach it to the kids.
Exactly.
And they have their own notebook that they're writing, and they have their curricular resources, student curricular resources. So I can show the videos in class or not. So it's not about we're selling videos for teachers to show in the classroom.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the one thing I love about SSS is that you can use it in a few different ways. And one of the hardest things when I was in the classroom was making my substitute plans.
Yes.
It actually took more time to prepare those instead of just, I'm going to tough it out and I'm going to work. But yeah, I mean, even if you have SSS, you can plug that video in. Even if you're not there, have that substitute hit play, and then Andrew's teaching that day. But I really like how user-friendly it is. It'll say pause here to complete keyword outline. We've even had some schools reach out and say, hey, we're kind of exploring this flipped classroom where Andrew is doing more of the teaching. I pause the video, and now I'm doing the hands-on facilitating. So many different ways that you can use those videos.
Yeah, and there's one video a week, so you really couldn't watch it every day, all day long. I mean, they're
Right.
pretty short. Okay, talk about the other curricular option.
Yes. So our theme-based writing lessons, which
are writing across the curriculum. We're starting to call them that beginning in 2026. So
I didn't want to ruin your announcement.
I know, right? Well, I have hinted a couple times to our listeners, but now you know, ahead of everybody else. Theme-based lessons are going away. Not really. We're just reclassifying them to what the real world calls them, which is writing across the curriculum.
Yeah, absolutely. So those don't have a video component to it, but they are really well scripted. And when we say scripted, that does not mean, hi, good morning. Say, greet your students. The notes for the teacher are really well explained. And so we've made it to where teachers can pick it up and just begin teaching. And so with those, the source text in those, you might one week learn about literature and then history and then music and then science. And so those are 30 weeks. And so SSS is 24. So sometimes, if you have a little bit of a longer school year, some schools will gravitate more towards those. And so that's just another option. But one of the great things that I love about being an educational consultant and working along with my colleagues is that we get to design curriculum pathways and implementation plans. And this is where I think we differ from a lot of other curriculum companies, is because they say, okay, well, I want 10 of these books, 10 of these books. Okay, we fulfill your order and good luck.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not even that. We'll actually come alongside you and come up with a vertical alignment plan to say, okay, well, you're implementing in, say, grades 3 through 8. What does that look like for year 1? So we do a lot of scaffolding. We talk about multi-year implementation plans. So if you say, yes, this is what I want to use this upcoming school year, but what are some options for the next school year? So we do that. Sometimes we have schools that will bounce between SSS and our writing across the curriculum products.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that. But once again, educational consultants do a great job, and we're happy to make those custom plans for each schools to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our faculties that we serve and students. And that's not just for, 4-day or 5-a-week schools. We work with hybrid schools and specialized learning environments. And so we have a lot of different schools that we serve. And
yeah, so I do want to speak to that because honestly, this is kind of a decision that I had to make, and it was a tough decision. Who has access to an educational consultant? And Jeff has said multiple times, schools. Well, schools can be a micro school, a pod school. And we at IEW say, if you have multiple layers of decision makers, if you are working with hundreds of children, then you will want to speak with an educational consultant. Otherwise, our well-trained people in our customer service department, they are happy to help you, especially because like I said, sometimes those buying decisions are very quick and you just know what you want and you buy it. But educational consultants are specialized in getting to how can we help a whole school, maybe starting with one classroom, but the whole school is the goal. We want the whole school to get on board with IEW because we love what we do.
Absolutely.
So talk about the training part of it. We're teaching writing a little different than everyone else. We do have a teacher training component to what it is we do. It's actually the core of what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we highly recommend our teaching, writing, structure, and style. That's our teacher training course, and that's not just teacher meaning classroom teacher, but that's for everybody teaching IEW. And, we put a lot of focus on teacher training because we want to make sure that those that are teaching IEW understand it. They're teaching with fidelity, but also not getting overwhelmed, upset, and they go, oh, it just doesn't work. Well, we want to make sure that you understand it because if you're getting frustrated, your students are going to feel that. And so we want to make sure that you're equipped, you have the resources that you need, you understand what we're doing here. And so as educational consultants, we go and talk to our schools about different training options. And we have, you can train by doing it from the comfort of your own home or having one of us, more so probably me, coming out and being in your classroom and walking your teachers through all of our units and
you even do
techniques.
Demonstration lessons so that teachers can watch you teach a group of kids, which is really fun for you. I know you love that.
I do. I love doing demo lessons and being able to interact with the kids. And I did one where I think it was out of Adventures in Writing Tornadoes. And so obviously coming from Oklahoma,
tornadoes here.
They always say, hey, did you ever see a tornado before? Not in person. So, but yes, educational consultants, we can actually help you along with the training process, help you get set up with our accreditation program that's recently revamped. That is so, so good. And then, we're able to help with additional products too. And that doesn't mean try to sell you anything and everything, but hey, we have additional things that can help you in the classroom as well.
So Jeff mentioned our accreditation program. I wanted to just unpack that really quickly, IEW.com/accreditation. This serves parents who are looking for a teacher that they can be confident that have gone through our writing methods, classes, because they've proven it by going through accreditation. But of course, on the other hand, to have teachers go through this themselves to prove that they are able to do the lessons that they're teaching the students. Isn't that what you want? You want to be able to show that you know what we're doing. And I just highly recommend both parents and teachers to go through the steps to become IEW accredited. Totally worth it. Our podcast helper here today has noted that we are just about out of time. So, Jeff, what's the most important thing and why schools should contact an educational consultant?
Only one? Okay. Well, I will just say, the biggest thing, and we hear this a lot from our schools, is that when you call us, you're going to get a real person. Real people, personal support, individualized support, that's what you will get. And our relationship with schools doesn't end with curriculum. It continues through encouragement, training, practical support. And it's funny, teachers are very budget focused. So they go, this is wonderful. How much does all of this cost?
Yes.
$0.
Yeah, that extra support is just part of the package. You buy the curriculum, you are now part of the IEW family, and we want to support you.
It is an absolute perk of working with IEW. We will jump on a Zoom call or a phone call, chat, email, whatever you need. We are here to help. And,
now, if they're flying Jeff out to do on-site professional development or specialized development, there is a fee associated with that. But for the most part, just pick up the phone.
Absolutely. So formal training, there's a fee, but ongoing support, that's at no cost. But yeah, when, teachers feel equipped, students flourish. And we're really here to make sure that, like our motto says, that we are we're creating confident and competent communicators and thinkers. And we'll do anything to make sure that happens.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Jeff.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please subscribe to our podcast in iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify. or just visit us each week at iew.com/podcasts. Here you can also find show notes and relevant links from today's broadcast. One last thing, would you mind going to iTunes to rate and review our podcast? This really helps other smart, caring listeners like you find us. Thanks so much.